All right, join me in pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the November 3rd, 2025 meetings.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is approval of claims. That raises question to me.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dusty?
Okay, the first thing I have is, unofficial detour reimbursement for, Garland Road, for bed numbers 2001958 and 2001959. The amount $2,998.52. The second page is last. You already see it.
There you go.
You send this to it?
Not that one, we had a previous for, Kennett Road, you all have already signed. Kennett Road has been fixed now, the portion of Bradford and the shoulder done on Aaron Road all done, as part of that.
Then while he's looking at that, you had emailed us or texted us that Antioch's being done.
Yeah, it should be done today, I didn't get a chance to talk to Ronnie this afternoon, but I think it'll be done today.
Yeah, from top to bottom.
Yep, top to bottom. They done all the wedge first, and I think it was Friday, they finished up on, or they started on surface, and they had to back up the hill there, so they had to run from the top of the hill to keep it. And it is very nice, they widened it out for us, and very nice. We are gonna have to go back and put shoulder stone on there, but I'd like to let that blacktop cure before we run the grader and stuff on it.
And nothing on the trucks.
No, I talked to Charlie week before last, and he said they got all the panel hitch plates to cut and put on, they got some of the hydraulics run, and they're waiting on the bed, and the hydraulic crew to open back up so they can finish the hydraulics on. He said maybe 3 to 4 weeks, we might see something.
Yeah, while they're signing, I'll keep asking. What about, were you able to go, the road, land development, where we received the text about,
Yeah, I have not found anything on that yet. It's part I can't find either, is we still have what looks like to be on our right of way that still carries out, not quite to the road, but somewhat out through that ground, and I don't know if that was ever sold or what happened with that.
Okay.
But that does go back to where we think it's going to go, so we need to figure out why that right of way is still showing on that. The next thing I have is our, asset management needs to be updated, and this is from GAI. This is our price to update it, which we talked about this, I don't know, a month or so ago, that we approved the price, but this is just the contract to get it rolling. And we have to turn this into LTAP. Brian, I believe it's December 1st, isn't it? That this is
Yes,
due?
it's supposed to be approved December 1st. It's usually supposed to be approved.
Okay.
I looked it up, right?
And Brian then will get all of our roads that we blacktopped in here, chip and seal, they'll get all them updated in there and turn them into LTAC. And do them next week. And that's what they're costing for.
When do we start looking at roads for next year? If we're able to.
That's what I'm working on now. Chip and seal will be good on, I don't know which road yet. And we got shorted 1,000 tons from Hilltop this year, and they claim they're not gonna run chips next year, so I gotta find another place to get, I'd like to find every rock if I can, but if not, we may have to switch back to limestone. So next year, I'm hoping to do 3,000 tons, we normally do, plus an additional 1,000 that we missed out on this year. So as far as blacktop, I won't know for a little bit on that.
We need a motion to approve this.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve, the GAI project.
I'll second it.
What's it is?
3850.
I think it's on that first page too.
$3,850. All in favor?
Aye.
Crews, start line striping on Markham Pike. They actually almost finished it today. We got about maybe 3 more gallons of paint we need to finish Markham Pike. We finished on our cinders. We got 2,000 tons of them at the shop now. And we already talked about Antioch, which should be done today as well.
And the 15-day forecast doesn't look too bad, so.
Yeah. We got, we picked up more paint and last beads today for the paint striper, so the next weather window, we get no rain, we're gonna keep on tripping the line striper. I think we're gonna move to, Turtle Creek next on the line striper once we get off the back. Turtle Creek, Little Hoffman. And I think that's all I've got. We got Slater here from Violet. If you're ready, Slater.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys can see the screen all right, but yeah, thank you for allowing me to present to you this evening. My name's Slater Rush. I'm the Midwest Market Manager for Violytics. Been with the company for about 2.5, 3 years now, and we've been in Indiana successfully for about 3 now. And so give you a quick rundown of how the Violytics system works. Spend a little bit of time in the actual web system, show you some examples, some specific use cases of how several other counties are utilizing us, and feel free to stop me with any questions at any point in time as well. But we got about, I'd say about right around 25 counties throughout Indiana alone utilizing us really well, and then several cities and towns as well utilizing us. But in terms of kind of how the system's structured and how it works, I would say most counties today are manually conducting all of their road ratings, phaser ratings going out, driving every road segment, with 1 or 2 people in the truck, or contracting it out all together as well to a firm, and usually those are also being manually done. And so this enables you to be able to do all of that in-house, utilizing simple iPhones mounted either in the windshield of a municipal vehicle or on the outside of the vehicle, just depending on what type of vehicle that you're in. And really the big idea with this is, A, to allow you to monitor your roads on a more consistent and frequent basis, but be able to have a live, real-time snapshot of your entire road network really at your fingertips whenever you want to analyze that data, utilizing it for budgeting and planning, but also from an asset management standpoint. And so how the system works in general, once you get the phone mounted, it's a pretty simple setup. We give you unlimited use of it, so you can go out, rate your roads on an ongoing basis rather than just the one time every other year. So that way you're getting updated ratings on a consistent basis, but also identifying issues as they're happening. to be able to plan accordingly with that, and be able to identify where more preventative maintenance needs to be done. But once you hit start, all you got to do is drive. It's as simple as that. It's taking photos every 10 feet as you're driving down the road. It's automatically identifying all of the surface level pavement distresses, and also a number of assets like street signs, manholes, storm drains. Actually, this upcoming month in December, we'll also be releasing pavement markings and striping as well. So it's literally doing all of that simultaneously, also giving you an updated image every 10 feet of that road, so you can utilize that imagery for really any other thing in the right-of-way that you're wanting to look at, or potential issues that we can identify as well. And to give you an idea, it'll upload into this web system over here on the right-hand side where you can analyze all of that data in real time. I'll actually hop into this web system here in just a second to show you in more detail of what that looks like. And this is just to give you an example of what our AI is actually doing. So once that imagery uploads, our AI model's automatically identifying those pavement distresses. You can see it identifying a number of signs as well, some storm drains. And that's doing all of this simultaneously just while you're driving. You can do this on an ongoing basis, kind of like I mentioned earlier. Right now, I would say a lot of the counties that are utilizing us are successfully getting 2 assessments in a year on average now. They've been able to do one in the fall going into winter after they've done a lot of their projects for the year to get their updated ratings and see where they're sitting at, but also in the springtime to see kind of what's changed after the winter going into the construction season as well. And then we have several counties that are utilizing it for different scoping projects, for unofficial detours, when traffic's getting rerouted down county roads for, maybe a state road closure or bridge closure, grading those roads on a bi-weekly basis to track the degradation and have that image data as well, so you can see that progressively deteriorating over time. So there's a lot of different ways that it can be utilized in terms of the assessments itself, but also there's a lot of other features in there like full work order management that you'll be able to take advantage of to be able to track also the short-term maintenance. So just to show you kind of an example of what this looks like, this is what this data will actually upload into. So you'll have a full web system. It's all web-based, so you can click into any particular segment at any time. Again, you're going to have all that image data as well, so you can click into any of the images, see all of that information, and we can travel along just like Google Street View as well and see any of the ratings, maybe once this loads on the Wi-Fi here. But you'll have all of that information, and again on a 10-foot segment as well. It's all geo-referenced, GPS point-based, so it knows exactly what segment you're on at that particular date and time. So it's also time-stamping all of that information, and you'll have that imagery on a point-by-point level.
We can see every 10-foot section of the entire road length?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, so you can see that image, and you can, again, just travel along like Google Street View, just as you're driving along there. You can drill all this data down as well, so there's a lot of ways to filter this in terms of, depending on what you're wanting to look at for planning purposes. So if we just wanted to filter down and, look at all of our specific segments that are 3 and below, or by a specific distress type as well, or surface type, you wanted to filter, see all of your chip seal roads. We can also filter, look just for those specific roads that are all gravel or chip seal or asphalt. So you can filter for any of that information in there as well. And then you can also take advantage and utilize our other assets in here that we're automatically identifying. So we can toggle on our traffic signs as well. Maybe if this will load here. Try to refresh real quick. Okay. So you can toggle on your traffic signs. You'll have a full inventory of all of those, along with conditions of them as well. So not only are we giving you the inventory of them, you can see exactly how many signs that you actually have. So we can click in, see exactly how many stop signs that we've inventoried, and see counts of those on the left-hand side there. But we can also filter for any that are like hidden by shrub and could be a safety concern. We can look at those on a list view, see any of these that are blocked by shrub or hidden. So there's a good example of a stop sign starting to be covered up that we may need to create a work order for and assign that out. So all of this can be looked at from any laptop, computer, monitor, And then we also have a mobile app for anybody out in the field. Anybody within the department or the crew can have on any iPhone, Android tablet. And while they're out in the field as well, they can also take pictures of issues that they see or spot while they're driving to a job site. Create that work order. It'll actually pin the location immediately, and then they can assign it out to whoever they like. So if I, for example, created a work order off of this, we can create any specific categories, request in here. So if there's a sign issue, I can create that, and then I can set it up to immediately assign to the right people, or I can specifically suggest and click who I want that to assign to, and then they will actually get a notification in there. So you can get full reporting on any of this, see what's been done weekly, monthly, daily, and see what work's being completed also throughout the county, and see that. So you'll always be able to refer back to that. You'll never lose any of the data in this web system. So you'll always have this, even if you're using this 10 years down the road from now, for example, and you wanted to go back to the very first inspection that you ever did, you could go back, compare and contrast year over year, what your PASER ratings look like, your road network assets that you have in here, all of that information as well. In terms of keeping track of all your work orders, all of that information is just up in this upper tab in here for work orders. And we can filter specifically in here for anything that we're wanting to, filter by or keep track of, essentially. So I can see how many open work orders. So in this example, there's 203 that still need to be completed. There's 6 in progress and just under 700 that are completed. So I can come in here, filter. I can see, specifically under which category those are assigned to by priority. So I can see how many we have under the signs category, under project managers, maintenance, whatever specifically. We can build out the categories really however you want in terms of categories, who they're assigned to. We can filter and look at all of our completed work orders. So if you wanted to see, I don't know, for example, how many potholes we filled in an entire year or in a given month, we can filter and identify those on the map and see how many that we've actually done work to or how many signs we've replaced. So you can see all those pinned throughout the map as well. We can also keep track of any other assets in the system for you. So, for example, bridge inventories. So we can get a shapefile either from your GIS of any asset and import it into our system, so that way we have all the locations of those layered over your PASER ratings. And also you can utilize the work order management off of that. We can upload bridge inspection documents. I mean, it's really a full asset management and payment management program where you can keep all of that data stored in there and access it at any point in time. So we can get a shapefile of these in here. It'll come over. So for example, this bridge that I clicked on, it'll have all the specific properties information in here, year that it was built, with all of that information that came over from their database that they already had. Or you can use our system to inventory these over time as well. So for kind of an example, Knox County, which you have a case study on as well, kind of how they've utilized us in front of you, but they took the time and utilized our system, inventoried all of their culverts, bridges, small structures. They have images of them, material type, so they just have a drop-down menu that they can usually select any of that information specifically, and then they even have a rating on there in terms of the condition of that. So they can drill all this data down. Again, they can upload documents to it, so I can specifically look at any of my assets, and I can look at my bridges, and I can see any of them that have documents attached to it as well. So we can upload a PDF just of that bridge inspection in there, so that way you don't have the massive binders just stacking up in the office as well, and then it's attached to that specific bridge, really easy to find in the system. And then if there's any work that ever needed to be done to this bridge as well, I could create a work order directly off of any asset. So now you're keeping track of specific work and maintenance that's been done to any asset within the county as well. So all of that can just live in that system and continuously be updated throughout time. And then the last thing I'll touch on here really quickly as well, just for the sake of time, is also the treatment planning and budgeting. So you can do all your treatment planning in here and budgeting. So, if you already wanted to start looking at roads for this upcoming year, we could already have this in a planning table and budget it out. So, I mean, we could even budget this out and plan this, make a 3 to 5 year plan if you wanted to, with all your specific treatment types in there. It'll give you estimates on cost. Everything will be customized based on your material cost, everything in there. So you can see they've already started to build out 2026 as well, and we can see a lot of preventative maintenance, mostly crack sealing, some chip seal, and you can see that on the map as well. So if you wanted to just look at any planned segments on the map, we can see all of these in purple here, and we can filter this by year, by treatment type, any of that information as well. I don't have a ton of time, but I want to be able to answer any questions you may have as well.
And
get on these finals.
the unofficial detour part, we can either check it start and finish, or I can run it every week and see if it's deteriorating each week.
Yeah, you can run it as often as you want. So, I mean, we could even, what we've done for quite a few counties is we've set up a separate system, so it's out of their main system in here just for their unofficial detours. White County's using it a ton for that. Montgomery County's used it quite a bit for that as well. I mean, if you have the time, you might as well run them bi-weekly just so you track that on an ongoing basis and get the updated imagery. What it'll update in the web system, every time you drive that road, what you'll see when you first log into the system is the most recent drive that you did on that. And then up in the top right-hand corner, we could filter by date and time and go back and look at any of the previous data collected as well. Yeah. So the county owns the data, so it's joint ownership in the data in terms between Biolytics and the county. Doesn't get used outside of that. So you could export all of this data and even import it into your own GIS system if you have a GIS system as well that you want to put that data into as well. Questions or anything I can clarify, more information on?
I guess I got a couple quick questions. First being, since the FASA ratings are AI generated, if I understood you correctly, are they recognized and accepted by MDOT?
All of our asset management plans have been submitted to them and already accepted for this year, so absolutely.
Cool. You mentioned that your bridge ratings, I mean, obviously you can download that information currently. Do you anticipate expanding this to where those are also a part of this package and AI generated?
In terms of automatically analyzing bridges, no. I mean, that'll be out of our scope in terms of what we're going to focus on.
And I think obviously the reason I ask is we currently have two different providers. One is asset management, the other is bridge inspection. So I'm just curious if you had anticipated expanding on.
Yeah, a little tougher on the bridge side of things and culverts. I know there's some companies out there that are getting into that though. But will be out of our scope. In terms of what we have, at least from my knowledge, at least coming up, in terms of product releases, is the striping, which will be coming out this upcoming month. So it'll give you a full assessment, all of the areas within the county where striping is faded, chipped, missing in sections, things like that, where they need to be addressed. We're releasing a reporting portal as well early this upcoming year. So it'll give you a bunch of charts in terms of kind of where your budget backlog is, how much money you need to maintain your current PASA rating, how much money you need to improve by different scenarios. And then we'll also be releasing a fully automated budget scenario building tool. So it'll be based similarly to how roadresource.org is. You can look it up, but it'll actually build out a 5-year plan for you that'll actually continuously gain service life in your network year over year with the budget that you do have. So you can actually input your budget and it'll make suggestions for you.
You liked it, Dustin?
I
What
do.
you're saying?
I like all the other tools that we can use.
I think probably obviously all the tools are very useful, but probably the biggest tool that I think from a commissioner's perspective is to be able to forecast budget and maintenance. Because I think one of the things that we have no visibility to today is that. I mean, think if we really had a tool that says, hey, 10 years down the road, if you don't start spending Y and it says X, your passer ratings are gonna follow this as opposed to staying here at this.
I agree.
So,
And the good thing, we'll have a snippet every 10 feet of all the roads, so we can know which direction to steer in as well.
Yeah, instead of driving out there in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
time and money and gas. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions coming up, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Old business. Old business was the Grand Lifetime Resources.
Hello. Thank you for having me again. Erin Thomas from Lifetime Resources. I've been here a couple times. A few weeks ago, spoke to you guys. We're, again, just as a quick reminder, the Area Agency on Aging. We provide a variety of resources and services basically aimed at people being able to maintain their independence in their homes for as long as possible. And then we also operate Catch a Ride. And so I was looking at some of the data, and I think Gail gave you the request there, so you should have this information as well, but we serve about 230 individuals across those variety of services. And our budget for Richland County is just under $360,000. Our request is for $15,000, which is around 4% of the budget here in the county. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I think last time it was really just a matter of needing more time to see where you guys stand with the budget and things like that. So happy to answer any questions or provide any further information that you guys may need.
I don't have any. I'll tell you that we were given some disheartening information that the casino revenue is going to drop significantly next year. A lot. So, based on asking you to come back, that was because we hadn't settled the budget yet.
Yeah.
As far as your request tonight, I will make a motion to grant your request in the amount of $15,000. That being said, I just want you to talk to your board and say, hey,
Yeah.
tough times are coming in Switzerland County. I don't know
Yeah.
what next year's gonna look like. It's gonna
Okay.
start hitting us probably July, and then
Okay.
full impacts will start being felt November-ish,
Okay.
that's not next year.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be significant.
Okay.
And just to put it in context, if I remember right, like 1.4 million?
Yeah, and we'd already taken a hit, so it's more like $1.8 million that we had
Yeah.
lost.
Right.
From our county.
I'll second, because we did, a couple months ago, we said, hey, let's see how the budget,
Mhm.
but as Ryan said, next year,
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
Okay. I wanted to let you know as well, I sent Gail a copy of, I know some of the local governments have been needing like a grant agreement in place for auditing and things like that, so I provided a template if that's something you guys feel
Yeah,
like you need.
we have one already.
Okay.
And I
Sure.
didn't bring it here, but we do have one already.
Okay.
They'll sign off on it and it'll go before the council.
Okay.
So they approved it for this amount and that the council could
They could say
do
no.
lesser. They could do
Okay.
lesser.
Gotcha. Okay.
The grant program will still exist
Right.
next year, but it's based on a percentage of casino revenue. The
Right.
percentage is gonna drop significantly.
Yeah.
Unless something happens in legislative action to change this, but right now it's
Yeah.
pretty rough on us.
Is it just because less utilization, or is there something else
There's
that's
a contract
impacting
in
it?
place, and it's a percentage of their revenue.
Yeah.
That drops below a certain number, then we're out of luck.
Yeah.
We're out of luck.
Okay.
So what was this year? There was like 125,000 that was put into the grant, or
I think it's
156?
85, if I remember right, based on the percentage, I think it was around 85,000, so.
We dropped
if-
5.9 million.
If the revenue is 1.8 million less, and let's just say it's 1%.
Yeah.
Because we used 6.3 million last year, so it's something greater than 1%, 1.5% ballpark. 6.3 million,
So
1%,
now
now
it's
65 or 63. So you're only 2 million left, 5.9, so it's gonna be 70,000 as opposed to 85, whatever.
Yeah.
So just food for thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I made a motion to approve, Joe
That's
seconded it, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The
appreciate
reason
it.
I'm opposed, so just so to be clear, is I think we have other organizations within the county that I know are probably gonna come to us in 2026 that I think are utilized possibly more than this, and possibly more than the next one that we're gonna go over. And I would personally prefer to fund those organizations as opposed to this one. So that's the reason for my objection.
I appreciate your input. Thank you.
All right, YMCA.
Good evening. Hey, I'm Brett Howard. I'm the volunteer chair of the YMCA. That's my hat and wear today. I'm here with Ren, our interim director. We were invited to come back down to talk about this. So procedurally, my understanding of where we're at is we requested 80 back in June. This board approved 60. And then we went to the council, and the council said, oh, we're going to give you 30. And then there's a weird amorphous description, you guys need to come back. And so I'm coming back, we're asking for the second half of the 30, because I'm a little confused about where we are, about whether it was approved, not approved, what the status is, and so on. I have a bunch of talking points. It basically duplicates some of the information that we handed in there. But that's what I'm here for tonight, to answer any questions regarding the additional 30, the second half of the funding from the 60.
So to give you clarification on the 60-30, this board approved 60, but the fund didn't have enough money to fund the 60. So that's why council was only able to give you half. They can't give you monies that don't exist.
Right. So is the original request still approved?
My understanding was that you was asked to come back and resubmit a second grant, so that's why.
Okay, that's part
You're
of
back.
I didn't understand. So if there's a disconnect in the funding between you folks and the council, whatever's approved.
I don't think it's
is
a
no-
disconnect. I think we have two separate roles, and they exercise their
So
role.
it's basically like a checks and balance system. So this
Uh,
board will
yeah, I-
approve
I
part
got
of it.
that. I
and then
understand
the
that
other,
piece, yeah.
They will approve as much as is available. But whatever they say on that half is what gets approved for the agreement. So this was a request for you to resubmit for that second half.
So every time there's not enough money, that's the amount you get, and then you start over with
Well,
another
And then you
grant.
can just resubmit for a different grant request.
And those were some of the glitches in the new program. Now we know exactly how much cash we have on hand
I
each
gotcha.
cycle. That's why Gail just gave me that number, so.
Okay, so what did we submit then? We submitted another request for 30,000. Is that what we have in front of you tonight then?
I don't have anything, she didn't give me the second agreement. I don't have, the only one I have is from when you submitted last month or September.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a new one that you just.
And that was 30,
just
right?
tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 30.
Yes.
Right, so our information hasn't changed beyond the initial 30. I mean, I know you said a new grant request, but it's gonna be redundant. It's gonna be hoping to fund the same priorities that we had in the first grant request, so.
And that's perfectly acceptable. You can submit the same information. Just depends on what they decide.
So is there any questions that I can answer for this commission? I can tell you procedurally, hasn't changed. We did receive a little bit of incremental funding from some other outside sources. We're solvent, contrary to popular belief. The doors have not been closed. Bankruptcy has not been declared. Pool is open, pool is functioning. We have a couple schools that have entered into contracts for us for the swim team, including Hanover College. So we're making progress. We have 3 new additional members to the board, including some people from Madison. So everything's chugging along nicely, which I think we're in a better position financially than we were a year ago. And so I think things are looking very optimistic for us. So, but that's what I'd here mostly answer questions and just get clarity on, I guess, our second 30,000 grant request.
And you said that's okay, we can go off of based on our procedures?
I still have the old contract in my office, but I did not bring it because I wasn't.
I think there's two
Exactly.
differences in the whole, the one originally
No,
that,
not the one for the 60,000, she requested an additional.
right, and that was like a month or so ago.
Correct.
What I'm saying is they
I
can
have
use the
that.
same information, so they don't have to come up with something new, because they didn't have enough money, they can use the same exact justification.
Right.
And then our most recent request, basically, it was just for the same thing that we asked for before. But last time you guys had questions about our impact on the community and what we do at the Y. So in our most recent request, just kind of shed some light on what we bring to the community and what makes us so important that we believe that it's in the best interest of the county to fund the Y.
Do we have anybody else that's applied for any of this stuff? The number on hand. So you have the information.
That's after what we just did.
Yeah, this was today, now that's that.
No, what I'm asking is, this is after lifetime?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion for the 30, and again, it's probably not happening next year.
We have heard some things that we understand are beyond the control of the commissioners.
Yeah, so, you know, the 30, if it gets a second, there's no guarantee that council is gonna approve it. They may say $5,000. I just wanna be very transparent with you. But, as far as my seat on the commissioners, if what we're seeing and hearing, it'll be hard for me to pull the trigger on any grant money next year.
Understood.
So Joe made a motion to approve the request of 30,000. I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye. And I'll give you an explanation as well. Again, you know, if you look at the county, currently, we currently invest approximately $1.82 million a year in investments for the future of this county. We just got the news that was based on a $6.3 million a year in casino revenue. Okay, we know that our casino revenue is going to be closer to 5.8, 5.9 next year, plus minus an additional 1.4 because of the shortfalls or the negative lack of income or revenue that the casino is taking in. That takes that $2 million that we've been able to invest to secure the future of the county down to about zero. So that means at some point, we're gonna have to start discontinuing some of the programs and some of the operations within this county. Now, is that employee benefits? Maybe it is. Is that SCER? Maybe it's SCER. Is that giving the sheriff's department less? They get about $350,000 of that casino revenue. Maybe it's all the above. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, there's not going to be any excess funds at all at that rate. So we'll have nothing to give away. Now, does that currently include $85,000 in NGO or grant funds? Yes, it does. So personally, I would take away the NGOs or the grant funds first before I discontinue any of the operations of the county. So I think it's something that everybody needs to be aware of, everybody needs to hear, and needs to expect going forward.
So does the county have an NGO budget for 80,000 next year? Is that what you're saying, a total budget for NGOs?
Well, we don't know it yet.
We
You
have,
don't know yet?
yeah. Annually, we create a distribution for the casino revenue. We mean in the commissioner. We haven't had that meeting yet. We haven't created those distributions, and we just received news last week that an additional 1.4 million less in 2027. Now, we'll only get hit with half of that in 2027, the full amount in 2028, unless the current path of the casino changes, obviously. But if it continues, by 2028, that 1.8 to 2 million is going to be closer to 2.4, 2.5. So we're rapidly approaching a situation where we're not going to be able to fund the operations within the county the way that they've been funded historically. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's awful to hear. Everybody go gamble. Come on, let's get back to that casino. Yeah, that's terrible to hear, you guys, so.
So I guess, Jim, just to confirm, do you guys assign a dollar amount based on, or do you take a percentage? Do you say we take 2% of the casino revenue and we allocate it to NGOs, or 1%? So in terms of the bad news situation, when all that money goes down, 1.5% or whatever the number is less for us. But you're saying that you're no longer going to support the idea of even giving any percentage to NGOs. You don't want us
What
to
I'm
do it.
telling you is that currently, let's say it's 1.5%. I think that's a pretty close rough
I
number.
thought I
for
heard
NGOs.
you guys say
Um,
so.
But when we get to the threshold where we have nothing, right? We currently take $2 million a year and put in investments. When that $2 million's gone and it's not there, that means that just running the county takes the general fund budget as well as basically $4 million, 4-point-some million dollars of casino revenue. So once that $2 million's gone and there's nothing to invest, you can only start to cut into your operations as your expenses continue to go up, correct?
That's something we understand at the Y very well after last year.
So if you've got zero excess, then you have to start cutting something as those costs continue to go up. And I've been a commissioner for basically 7 years now, and not one time in 7 years has our budget gone down that I can remember.
The amount they're taking from us is pretty close to what it costs to fund EMS by itself. So there's gonna be some serious, meetings and discussions on how do we go around, how do we navigate this? I voted to give it to you, now you don't have it, and this is your fair warning, as we got one. Doom is coming for right now, so.
Well, we appreciate the support. We'll see how it goes with the next step of the approval chain here. Anyway, so I don't have any more questions. Do you have anyone else? Well, thank you very much, and good luck with that funding next year.
So it's gonna affect all of us, not just us, right?
Yeah, we
Meaning us.
appreciate the knowledge, we do.
It's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
SIRPC bidding?
All right. I'm here, I'm Patty with the Regional Planning Commission. I'm conducting the bid opening for the Spokane County Owner-Occupied Rehab Program. I'm going to pass around the sign-in sheet for you guys. This should be our last bid opening for the program, and this program was funded through the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. Here's the bid tab sheet. if you would like one. Does anybody in the audience want a bid tab sheet? No. All right, the first bids are from Stalin Construction, and that's S-T-E-H-L-I-N. S-T-E-H-L-I-N, and the property address is 211 Seminary Street. And the total bid is $14,600. $14,600. Sorry about that. The next address is 10,067 Markland Pike, and that bid is at $22,700. $22,700. The next bid is for 11978 Coleman Road, and that bid is $40,400. $40,400. The next one is for 12263 Arnold Miller Road, and that bid is $15,050. $15,050. Let's see, the next bid is for 10885 East State Road 156. that bid is $16,950. $16,950. Then we've got 313 Pike Street. That bid is $14,500. $14,500. The next bid is for 705 West Pike Street. And that bid is $34,100. $34,100. The next bid is for 13099 North Branch Road, and that bid total is $14,350. $14,350. And then the last bid is for 12833 Antioch Road, and that bid is $22,460. $22,460. And those are all the bids for Stalen Construction. Next bids are from David Jackson with Jackson Construction. The first property address is 313 Pike Street, and his bid is $11,300. $11,300. The next bid is for 705 West Pike Street. He has a bid total of $9,000, but he puts a statement on here that he could not get into the house. The owner would not answer the phone or call him back. So he only bidded on the roof and nothing else. The next one, 10067 Markland Pike. The bid total is $12,160. $12,160. The next address is 13099 North Branch Road. The total bid is $20,950. $20,950. The next one is 11978 Pullman Road. The total bid is $32,080. $32,080. And we've got 12263 Arnold Miller Road. The total bid is $13,585. $13,585. And the next one is 10885 East State Road 156. The bid total is $17,810. $17,810. Now we've got 211 East Seminary Street. That bid total is $13,536. $13,536. And then the last one, 12833 Antioch Road. The bid total is $23,550. $23,550. And that is all of the bids that we have received. What I'd ask is you guys just take them under advisement tonight and give me time to review them, and then I'll come back to the next meeting and let you know who they should be awarded to or make our recommendations, okay? Do you guys have any questions on any of this?
Are you gonna reach out about the 9,000, the uncompleted?
Yes, I'll reach out to the contractor and the homeowner and see what I can figure out on that, so. And then I'll give you guys an update on the program and how many houses are done at the next meeting also. Okay? Thank you. You're welcome.
See, Tuesday, October 28th, they toured all three parks, picked up some dead branches at Patriot Park. The lawn still has ruts from July. Tan mobile home is still broken down at Bryant's Creek Park. I called Brian about the status of that. Also, October 28th, I talked to H&B Systems regarding non-functioning security cameras at Markman Park. November 5th, spoke to Kane Lawn Service, told them to go ahead and fill in the ruts at Patriot Park for $1,250. I talked to Brian today, and he says they know this man that did it. His vehicle was all muddy, obviously, and by the time the department got to look at his vehicle, it was clean top and bottom. So he's sure who did it, and with what truck did it in the county, but there wasn't any way, he wasn't criminally charged, so we can't go for the $1,250 it costs to secure it. So hate to see that happen, but we had to spend money out of the budget for that. Tuesday, November 11th, I worked with Mike at H&B Systems at Markland. In June, his interns removed the monitor, the POE, and the power supply. He'll be back soon, hopefully this week, and hopefully no charge to make it working finally. November 11th, I called State Highway Department about a huge sign at the entrance to Markland Park. It is about 20 feet long. It was mounted on a steel support system. Indiana claims right away of 10 feet or 20 feet, and it was about 2.5 feet off the asphalt on 156. And about 2 feet away from the entrance to our park. It looked like we were having an auction at the park, which we weren't. So the next day I called State Highway Department, and they said that you got to take it down. So they took it down immediately. Friday we had our regular monthly meeting and spoke with two representatives of YPAC about the 2026 baseball contract. They gave us figures for the number of children served, including some from Ohio County. Patriot Lawn Service, the lawn at Patriot has been leveled and filled in and reseeded, and we elected a new clerk treasurer for 2026. Thank you for your time.
Kathy?
I'm here from the Health Department representing the food inspection permits. We have gone over our food permits, that the cost of doing service, and we do 3 permits. It's a retail food establishment, which we have at $50, a mobile temporary, 1 event, $50, and a temporary mobile, 3 events or more, $150. We're here under the code, Indiana Code 1620-1-27, which is the board can increase these fees with the approval of your approval. We are not going to raise the mobile temporary or the temporary permits, but we are asking to increase the retail food establishments. We did a deep dive in what it cost us to provide these permits. That includes a salary, that includes travel, that includes inspections. Each retail food establishments will receive 2 inspections a year, and then any complaints additional. We've taken all that into consideration. We also do plan reviews, which is a new business. We do somewhere around 10 of those a year, 8 to 10. That changes every year. And next year, the ordinance is going to change by the state, and that's under council review right now. But with that coming on, we're going to have extra time spent with the retail food establishments on education to bring them up to speed about what the changes are going to be. So when we take all this into consideration, we feel like we could, we'd like to increase the fee to $75. We have not had a fee increase since 2021, which was 50, which is now, the last one was 25 in 2020. So we are here to request a increase of $25 for the food permit of the retail food establishments. We also are asking for 2 late fees. And one late fee is when an establishment does not renew their permit on time, it's expired. And the other is for temporary food establishments that fails to fill out their application a week prior to the event. talked to the state attorney, those are more than fair fees to ask on the fee increase, late fees. So those are the three things that we're here to get an approval for tonight.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the increase of $25, making it $75 for a permit. Also, the $25 late fee if a food establishment fails to renew permits before the expiration dates, and a $25 late fee for mobile or temporary food establishments that failed to turn in applications 1 week prior to event.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ryan?
Howdy guys. No, I was just here last week and last meeting and say we really didn't need to buy any equipment right now. I told you I had Stryker coming. So here's the analysis Stryker did on our equipment and where we're at. So, as we know, we got tons of outdated equipment there, greater than 10 years old. Stryker has most of their equipment labeled as 10-year service life. We've got some benefits, though, that we don't use our equipment as much as like an inner city. So our equipment's in good shape. It's passing PMs. We're putting money in it to keep it going every year. But they came down and did a fleet analysis. And we talked about how our monitors expire in 29. On the back of this sheet, there's the big number with the red number. I'm looking at the front right now. Their assessment is we buy 4 cardiac monitors, replace 3 of our oldest stretchers. That keeps us with 2 2018 monitors, 2 2018 stretchers. All of our Lucases are good, but we have a Lucas 2 that if it breaks, it's trash. Literally, they don't even work on them anymore. And we're short 1 Lucas on one of the ambulances. The capital total to buy all those is $433,377. They still have the no interest that we bought the power loads on until December 18th, and then it's going to become an interest plan. The equipment we're trading in would be the equipment in the green at the bottom, totaling $56,000 on that one front page, which is total equipment of $378,378.30. We can spread this over 5 years at $75,565 a payment. And I know that we're looking at the money issues coming up with the casino and everything. We know this equipment's going to expire at some point, and we've got 2 monitors in the fleet. If they break, Stryker's already told us it's a 1 in 1,000 chance of fixing them. They're that old. They're Series 1s. They're out there though, and we're still using them. I was thinking the payment plan isn't that bad. I know we're in a money struggle right now. But instead of paying $380,000 out of an account at some time now, or when we get to the backside of this, I'll show you what he says is going to happen in 2030. This keeps our money in the bank, where we're making interest and we're paying them over 5 years for all this equipment that we need right now. And that still keeps some of the equipment that we have that's newer, but it'll be older by the time this is paid off. The back side of that shows over the years, if we split this up throughout the years and just buy a little bit at a time to replace the stuff that's aging out, the total to replace all of our equipment is $984,674 by the end of 2030. That's with inflation and needing to replace everything and having no trades, because our equipment won't be worth anything on trade right now. Our stretchers are so old they're only worth $3,000. Our monitors are worth $8,000, and you guys know from history we paid $40,000 for those things. So the difference between buying what we're buying now versus waiting until 2030 is a difference of $606,296.40. Now you have to take into hand that there's still 2 monitors and 2 stretchers out there that are 2018s if we were to replace everything else. So there is still a cost, but as you guys know, I'm talking about the ambulances in the county. Do we need to replace all the equipment on those ambulances because they don't have a staffed crew? They are making backup calls, but this will kind of keep all the trucks that are running daily with the newest equipment. So money-wise, I think for 26, I had increased my equipment budget from 50,000 to 65,000 to incorporate 15,000 for that power load contract. I figured if I could pony up some of that money that's left in the budget, could you guys come up with about 50, or could we take the 50 out of my reserve funds at the bottom of my account? Because right now, without the casino draw going in there, and I don't know if you've moved the lit yet, there's a total of about 371,000 sitting down there. And we got till December 8th. That contract would have to be signed before December 18th to get the zero interest.
So we have 2 meetings.
Yeah. So we don't have to decide on it tonight, but this is
What's
just a
coming.
huge savings right here. I mean, if you look at the numbers, the green versus the red, I mean, that's a no-brainer over 5 years.
Right. And the 0%.
It's 0% interest, and then our money sits in the bank and makes interest. He thinks the interest rate after December 18th is going to be around 6%. So
And this will actually hit 26 budget, not 25 anyway, right?
what was that?
It'll be delivered prior to 26.
If we decide, and we don't have to pay until it's delivered, that's the thing, so we ain't gonna get this till January.
So it's on the 26 budget.
Yeah.
That's,
And he said monitors are about a month out, and the stretcher's gonna be 2 to 3 weeks out. So if we signed it right at the deadline, we're still talking 26 for delivery.
We're gonna use 50 to 65,000 of 26 budget to cover, 60,000 to cover, the 26 budgets to cover the 75 that I'm not opposed to.
What was your number?
I thought you said 60,000.
There's 65,000 there. 15,000 and some change has to pay for the power loads already got, so that knocks it down to 50. There's 50 sitting there. I would like to put in 25,000 of that money. That leaves me with a roughly about 23,000 in case I gotta replace anything else.
So you need 50 grand for that.
50, yeah.
And they either come from you guys, or there's $371,000 sitting in reserve right now. Now granted, there's gonna be some change, there's gonna be stuff that's still gonna trickle out of that money, but casino revenue hasn't went into that money yet either. The last draw hasn't even went in there, and we still got one more lit to go in there.
Well, I'd like to,
let's wait till December 1st.
Yeah. No decision has to be made tonight, but I told you these guys were coming, I wanted to come back and bring you that info. I think the savings is there, and it keeps our money in the bank. We take the equipment on them at no interest. And it knocks a big part of that equipment off the list that is in the red. Or will be in the red here soon, so. Yep, that's all I got.
any board report?
No.
I'll make a motion.
I do have a couple other things if you have time.
Yeah, does anybody out here have anything?
So have we took bids for snow removal for next year yet, for 26?
You put them out there.
Okay, we haven't received any bids.
I didn't get any, did you?
I mean, we're covered through December of this year, the current contract, but January 1st will be here before we know it.
Yeah, they've been advertised, but
Yeah, Friday was supposed to be the last day.
We haven't got a
But we
single
didn't
one.
get any.
I haven't received
I thought we
one.
were gonna get one, but I didn't get any.
And we had also
I
asked,
was received all day, or I was here all day Friday. Sorry, that's why I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. We'd asked to settle a call with
Harris.
Harris.
Yeah, and I did not, I thought Tina had emailed everyone to see a time, and she thought I had done it, so I didn't hear that until I listened to the minute. So I'll email everyone tomorrow
Oh, okay.
to see a good time to get everyone there.
When you do that, can you also email and start working on setting up a handbook committee? Because if we get answers from Harris, then I feel like we can move on and start exploring comp and start cutting budget back. But
So-
obviously, we have to have a time system in place.
There
first.
is a committee now with two of the council, Jamie's on there, the lead, and myself.
For the-
A new
For the handbook, we're supposed to form that committee annually. And it consists of 2 council and 1 commissioner, but we didn't do that in
Yeah, we didn't.
25.
We need,
You volunteered for something 2 weeks ago.
That was to be the point of contact for our, what was it, veteran affairs or something.
Yeah, but I thought there was something else related to employees that you volunteered for.
It was all two different sections of that. It was
Okay.
Disabilities Act and Veterans.
Got it.
All
Got
that
it.
was tied in.
The ADA
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll do the handbook.
compliant.
Forget
Yeah.
those.
I just wanted to make sure.
We got a form first, yeah.
So you guys want to talk about the casino percentages at the next meeting as well?
We should, yeah, we should either do it at the meeting or have a separate meeting, whichever one, and I'm fine with either one.
We'll probably just do it.
I mean, I can give
How
you,
does it work? We'll just base it on the fact they're not gonna get that.
Yeah, it's based on 5.8 or 5.9. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, the 5.8 or 5.9 are prior to the 1.4, so.
Right.
So that's 4.5, which, somewhere in that ballpark.
So in 27, the impact's gonna be the 400. So 25 was based on 6.9. 26 forecast prior to the bad news was 5.8, 5.9.
Right.
But now there's additional 750, we'll just say 750.
Yeah, that's coming on.
That's coming in 27 as well. So now instead of 5.8, 5.9, you're 5.1 ballpark.
Which is what we should base it on the worst case scenario, I would imagine. Yeah.
But again, the problem is you can't just leave the percentages the same based on the lesser revenue, because then you can't completely offset SCER, for example.
Right.
Then there's not enough at the lower rate with the current percentage to cover the difference between the two, meaning takes 1.1 million, there's 400,000 is covered in the general fund, so the other 700,000 is covered out of casino revenue. Their percentage was based on 6.3 to get a 700,000, so at 5 point something, that percentage has to increase to cover that difference, if that makes sense. And I was just using that as an example, they're not the only one that applies to.
Nothing else?
I'll make a motion to dismiss.
I'll
Or,
second.
excuse me, adjourn.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. All right.
Yeah, you